Hi, this is Gregory Possiman coming to you from Todd, North Carolina. Todd is where I live in North Carolina near the city of Boone. And this is going to be the monthly message for May of 2023. And before we get into the message, which will be channeled by the Mastress Quan Yin, I would like to ask a question. Have you ever wanted to visit Mount Shasta in Northern California? Purportedly one of the more spiritual places on the planet. If you have, and you would be interested, on the 27th of May, a Saturday, I am going to channel a webinar, which will be a visit to Mount Shasta. And that webinar will take place from 10 a.m. to 12 noon New York time. And the information for that webinar will be on the website, www.gregorypossman.com. So if you're interested in the most affordable trip and probably one of the more convenient trips to Mount Shasta, please join us for that event. Again, that'll be on Saturday, May 27th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon New York time. I would also like to announce that I have just channeled the latest and newest product on the website. And if you've ever wondered why it's so difficult to love yourself and get past the self-hatred, which would allow you to manifest what you want in your life, I have channeled an entity called Kilgon, who came to me a little over a year ago and helped with all of the self-hatred that we generate in our lives. And this is a process of removing bands of restriction from the heart and the solar plexus. And it employs the use of the Pleiadians and also the Syrians and the Venusians in the process, as well as the angelic realm, in order to remove these bands of restriction and self-hatred from the physical body that were probably placed there in other lifetimes. So if you're interested in that, again, that's a product on the website, and it was channeled by Kilgon, and you're welcome to go to the website and explore a greater description of that process. So at this point in time, I would also like to announce that I will be on Melissa Caprio's Om Times radio show on May 3rd, and that will involve channeling of the Archangel Michael or Michael, and also the earth element Pan. That will be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, May 3rd, with Melissa Caprio on Om Times Radio. So without further ado, let's bring in the Mastress Quan Yin and see what she has to say. Greetings, we are she who is called Quan Yin, and we bow to your most divine essence. We ask you to close your eyes and to bring all of your attention into your heart center. And as you do so, you focus on what it would feel like to forgive self. And it is not just forgiveness in this lifetime. It is forgiveness of all lifetimes, all dimensions, all realities you have ever touched with your energy. And take a very deep breath And remember, this is a huge task. This is not something to be taken lightly, because you are focusing upon all of the deeds, actions, violence, and overpowering that you may have done to anyone in any point, regardless of their species, regardless of what sort of being they may have been. Whatever abuse, whatever crime, whatever action you may have taken against another, the Creator, the God, Goddess, all that is, what some might call the Supreme Creator, has forgiven you many times over. But you have held on to the guilt of what you have done. And that guilt perhaps shrouds your heart. And it is time to allow that dark energy around your heart and whatever part of your body it exists or resides in to be released. Maybe you have been incarcerated, jailed, caged, kept prisoner because of such a deed. Maybe you have been humiliated, made fun of, mocked because of such deeds. Perhaps you have been executed, and we are going to add deeds of kindness and compassion for which you have been punished. Many of you, powerful entities, not only in this lifetime, but in many lifetimes. And because your own spiritual power was so profound, so exaggerated, and so pronounced that you could not be understood by others. And those who did not understand you punished you based upon their fear of you. And you could not understand why you were punished for being a loving, compassionate bodhisattva who was there to help everyone. And yet, still, you were punished. Perhaps tortured, accused of being in league with the devil, which of course does not exist. Perhaps you were put to death, burned at the stake, beheaded, hung, drawn and quartered, horrendous forms of execution meant to torture and punish, but more so meant to frighten and terrify those witnesses of such events so that they were pounded into submission with their fear. And you were the example. There may be tears coming to your eyes at this moment in time. Allow them. Let them come. Allow your feelings to come forth. Feelings of separation and isolation. Feelings of persecution. Feelings of great pain. Here you are, perhaps having been a loving being. And you may have been exiled, driven away from your village, your clan, your people, your family, your friends, those whom you loved. For this too is just as powerful a process to be forgiven for as any act of violence or overpowering or abandonment or abuse. So we are going to put all of these together and give you an opportunity to wash the slate clean, so to speak. And before we begin that process, let us notify scribe of the Akashic record that we are all collectively about to forgive ourselves. For as you are well aware, when one heals, all heal. And your act of self-forgiveness, release, and relief can help others to do the same. This is not a selfish act. And for those of you that believe you must somehow carry all of this energy into the future so that you can remind yourself not to do it again, please, let that go. That is not the truth. Acts that invoke pain, behavior that invokes pain and sorrow, it is not your nature. And yes, there were times when you may have involved yourself in it and carried it out because you could not help yourself. And that is what being human sometimes creates. But not now. Not now. That is not who you are. You are a part of the Creator. You come from light. You are light, and you will return to light. And this density that you experience now, it is a beautiful density, a loving density, a kind and compassionate density, perhaps easier to exhibit to others. So now, time to feel it for self and breathe. Place your hands on your heart and breathe again. Breathe in forgiveness, as if it were palpable, something you can feel, an energy that flows into your heart center. And breathe it in, as if it were a mist, a cloud, a vapor of gentleness, of support and kindness. Allow this self-love, perhaps white in nature, to surround the heart center and to work its way throughout the entire body, all the way down to the toes, into the tips of the fingers, and to the end of every strand of hair, to the top of the scalp, and into every crevice, every space, every molecule, every atom of your being. Rooting out all darkness, allowing forgiveness of all acts of unkindness, violence, jealousy, envy, and breathe. I give myself permission to love myself unconditionally and to forgive myself for every action, every deed, in every dimension, every lifetime, every reality I have ever occupied. And in exchange for this self-loathing, this self-hatred, I invoke peace, inner peace, outer peace, peace with all of my ancestors, peace with all of those whom I have interacted with, absolute peace, compassion, and kindness. I allow this peace, this kindness, this unconditional self-love to populate my heart, to fill it with the beautiful white light of self-love. And I will treat myself with nothing but kindness and self-love from now through eternity. And please, scribe of the Akashic record, hear my pledge, my vow to myself, and record it in the Akashic record just in case I should ever forget, that I could be reminded of what I have promised to self. And so it is. We are she who is called Quan Yin, and we bow to your most divine energy and essence. So it is. Welcome back. This is Gregory Possiman coming to you from Todd, North Carolina. I hope that you have a wonderful month a wonderful year, and a wonderful lifetime. All the best.